Welcome back, cherished companions on this profoundly unfolding wisdom quest, fellow explorers of inner landscapes and courageous seekers of authentic, vibrant living, to day 6 of our transformative 30-day immersive journey. With each passing day, as we weave these ancient insights with modern understanding, we are not merely accumulating knowledge. We are consciously co-creating a richer, more resilient and deeply meaningful tapestry of life, woven from the very essence of our being and the wisdom that connects us all. Yesterday, on day 5, we embarked on a truly liberating exploration of the art of letting go. We delved with courage into the profound power of releasing our often unconscious attachments, our rigid and often limiting expectations, and our tenacious grip on outcomes that ultimately lie beyond our direct control. We began to discover how this courageous act of surrender, of opening our hands to life as it is, can unlock vast reserves of inner peace, unwavering resilience, and a genuine, unburdened freedom. A journey of release we so intentionally began yesterday finds its most fertile ground, its most steadfast and unwavering support, and indeed its most natural and effortless expression in the very quality of being we turn our full attention to, with profound focus and gentle curiosity today. Our journey thus far has been a carefully curated, intentionally unfolding sequence of foundational insights, each building upon the last. We initiated our quest by opening ourselves to new perspectives with the vibrant, uncluttered curiosity of Shoshin on day 1. We then navigated towards our inner compass, exploring Ikigai on day 2, seeking that harmonious, an energizing intersection of our deepest passions and the world's most pressing needs. Day 3 carried us into the dynamic, joyful, and completely absorbed current of the flow state, understanding how to cultivate that state of deep engagement and effortless mastery in our pursuits. On day 4, a pivotal cornerstone was laid as we fortified our inner sanctuary with the enduring, practical principles of Stoicism, learning the critical art of discerning what lies within our sphere of influence from what fundamentally lies beyond it, and choosing to navigate life's challenges with virtue, reason, and an unshakable inner calm, effectively building our inner citadel. And as mentioned yesterday, day 5, we bravely ventured into the profound art of letting go, understanding the profound liberation that comes from releasing our tight grip on how we think things should be. Today, we arrive at a practice, a foundational human capacity that underpins not only the transformative art of letting go, but serves as the very bedrock for virtually every other aspect of wisdom, emotional intelligence, genuine well-being, and authentic spiritual growth that we will continue to explore and cultivate throughout this entire quest. Mindfulness and presence, anchoring ourselves with skill and compassion in the boundless, ever-present ocean of the infinite now. This is not merely a technique to be learned. It is a fundamental, life-altering shift in how we consciously choose to inhabit each precious moment of our lives. Part 1. Deconstructing Mindfulness and Presence, unveiling the profound depths of truly being here. So, let us embark on an even more profound deconstruction of these vital, often discussed, yet sometimes subtly misunderstood concepts, mindfulness and presence. While they are indeed close companions and often used interchangeably, discerning their nuanced distinctions can significantly deepen our appreciation for their individual contributions and vastly enhance our ability to cultivate them effectively. Let's begin with a more granular exploration of mindfulness. Building upon Dr. John Kabat-Zinn's widely respected definition, paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally, let's further unpack the richness embedded in each element. Paying attention on purpose. This underscores that mindfulness is a conscious, volitional, and intentional act. It is not a passive drifting of awareness, nor is it simply being lost in thought. It's a deliberate choice to actively direct the focus of our awareness, to take the reins of our attention, rather than being habitually tossed about by the ceaseless winds of external distractions or internal mental chatter. This inherent intentionality is the crucial first step towards cultivating greater agency, clarity, and mastery over our own mental landscape. It's about deciding what to attend to and how. The Pali word for mindfulness, Sati, also carries connotations of remembering to bring our attention back. In the present moment, this seems straightforward, yet it is precisely where our minds so often, and so habitually, stray. Our minds are magnificent time-traveling devices, constantly flitting between dwelling on memories of the past and projecting ourselves into future scenarios. Mindfulness is the gentle, yet persistent and disciplined act of bringing our awareness back, again and again, to the immediate, tangible, and unfolding reality of what is happening right now. The raw data of our sensory experience, the sensations in our body, the sounds impinging upon our ears, the thoughts and emotions arising and passing within our awareness. It is about viscerally recognizing that the past is a collection of memories, and the future is a realm of imagination. Only the present moment holds the pulse of reality. Non-judgmentally, this is perhaps the most subtle, the most challenging, and arguably the most powerfully transformative aspect of mindfulness. It entails cultivating the capacity to observe the entire spectrum of our experiences, our thoughts, our feelings, our physical sensations, and even external events, as they arise and pass through our awareness, without immediately or habitually slapping evaluative labels of good or bad, right or wrong, pleasant or unpleasant, wanted or unwanted upon them. It means refraining from getting entangled in the often elaborate stories, interpretations, and secondary reactions that our minds so skillfully weave around these primary experiences. Instead, we strive to adopt the compassionate stance of an impartial witness, simply noticing what is with a spirit of open curiosity, gentle acceptance, and unwavering kindness towards ourselves. This non-judgmental awareness is key. It even extends to noticing when we are judging, and then observing that act of judging without further judgment. This creates a profound space for greater clarity and significantly reduces our habitual, often painful, reactivity. It's as crucial to reiterate that mindfulness is not about achieving some mythical state of mental blankness or forcibly suppressing the natural, ceaseless flow of thoughts. This is a pervasive and unhelpful misconception that often leads to unnecessary frustration, a sense of failure, and even abandonment of the practice. The human mind, by its very design and function, thinks. It generates thoughts constantly. Mindfulness, therefore, is the practice of becoming intimately, consciously, and skillfully aware of this continuous stream of mental activity, the thoughts, the internal dialogues, the fleeting memories, the emerging plans, without getting automatically swept away by their narratives, without identifying with them as absolute truth, and without being controlled by them. It is about learning to recognize thoughts as thoughts, transient mental events, rather than as direct or accurate reflections of reality or as dictates for action. It's the difference between being your thoughts and observing your thoughts. Now, let's delve deeper into the rich tapestry of presence. Presence is more than just being physically co-located with the current moment. It is the vibrant, palpable state, or the deeply felt, resonant sense of being fully alive, wholly engaged, and profoundly, non-discursively aware in the here and now. It is that exquisite, harmonious alignment of our mind, our body, our heart, and our attention, all converged in the same temporal and spatial location. Presence is an embodied awareness. You can often sense it as a tangible quality of being, a feeling of profound groundedness, an unmistakable aliveness, a sense of being fully in your skin, comfortable, and at ease with what is. It transcends mere intellectual assent or conceptual understanding. It is a visceral, holistic way of inhabiting your life with your whole, undivided being. Consider for a moment, if you will, a time when you felt truly, deeply present, Perhaps it was witnessing the breathtaking majesty of a sunset or a star-filled night sky, or being completely engrossed in a heartfelt, authentic conversation with a loved one, or perhaps utterly absorbed in a creative endeavor where time itself seemed to dissolve. In those precious moments, the incessant chatter of the mind often recedes into the background, and there is a heightened, almost luminous sense of sensory awareness, a feeling of being utterly, vibrantly alive and intimately connected to the unfolding experience. That, in its essence, is the profound state of presence we are invited to cultivate. And again, to ensure utmost clarity, let us reinforce the distinction between mindfulness as an inherent quality of awareness and meditation as a deliberate practice. Mindfulness is that innate human capacity, that fundamental quality of consciousness that allows for present moment awareness imbued with non-judgmental acceptance. It is a faculty that we all possess, though it may be more or less developed or accessible to us at different times. Meditation, conversely, encompasses a diverse and rich array of formal, structured practices and specific techniques, such as mindful breathing exercises that anchor our attention, detailed body scan meditations that reconnect us with our physical selves, contemplative walking meditations that bring presence to movement, and heart-opening loving kindness meditations that cultivate compassion, all of which we consciously and intentionally engage in for the specific purpose of cultivating, strengthening, deepening, and stabilizing that innate quality of mindfulness. To use an analogy, mindfulness could be likened to the potential strength and flexibility of a muscle, and meditation is one of the primary and most effective forms of exercise we undertake to develop and enhance that muscle's inherent capacity. However, just as you can consciously engage and utilize your physical muscles in countless activities throughout your day, you can also intentionally bring the quality of mindful awareness to any activity you undertake. Formal meditation, or not transforming everyday moments into opportunities for presence. Part 2. The profound, multifaceted, and scientifically validated power and benefits of anchoring in the infinite now. This seemingly simple, yet profoundly radical and transformative practice of intentionally directing our attention to the raw data of the present moment and observing it with an open, curious, and non-judgmental heart holds truly remarkable power, a power that ripples through every dimension of our being, our experience, and our lives. But let us delve even deeper into the question of why this practice is so remarkably impactful and consistently beneficial. Firstly, the ever-advancing field of neuroscience, with its sophisticated tools and rigorous methodologies, continues to provide a compelling and rapidly expanding body of evidence supporting the tangible, measurable benefits of mindfulness. Through the use of advanced brain imaging techniques like fMRI and EEG, researchers have demonstrated conclusively that regular engagement in mindfulness practices can induce significant, observable, and positive structural and functional changes in the human brain, primarily through the extraordinary phenomenon of neuroplasticity, the brain's inherent ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Rigorous studies have consistently linked dedicated mindfulness practice to a wide array of well-documented benefits, including significant, measurable, and sustainable stress reduction. Mindfulness has been shown to be highly effective in modulating the body's stress response system, leading to a notable reduction in the circulating levels of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. This, in turn, fosters a calmer, more resilient nervous system and enhances our capacity to navigate challenging situations and daily stressors with greater equanimity, composure, and effectiveness. Enhanced focus, sustained attentional capacity, and improved concentration. By systematically training our minds to resist the constant allure of distractions and to intentionally anchor our awareness in the present moment, mindfulness practice demonstrably strengthens the neural pathways associated with executive functions, attention regulation, and cognitive control. This leads to tangible improvements in our ability to focus for longer periods, sustain our attention amidst competing stimuli, and enhance overall mental clarity and productivity. Greater emotional regulation skills and the cultivation of a more balanced emotional landscape. Mindfulness cultivates our innate ability to observe difficult or intense emotions, such as anger, fear, anxiety, and sadness, with a degree of spaciousness and non-identification. We learn to experience these emotions fully without immediately reacting to them impulsively or becoming completely overwhelmed by their intensity. This creates a vital internal space for a more skillful, adaptive, and value-aligned response, fostering greater emotional resilience, intelligence, and overall stability. It allows us to surf the waves of emotion rather than being drowned by them. Improved working memory capacity, enhanced cognitive flexibility, and sharper mental acuity. A growing body of research suggests that dedicated mindfulness practice can lead to positive changes in the structure and function of the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain critically involved in higher-order cognitive functions. These changes have been linked to improvements in working memory, enhanced cognitive flexibility, and an overall sharpening of mental acuity. Significant reduction in rumination and a notable alleviation of depressive and anxious symptoms. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, for example, has proven highly effective in preventing relapse and recurrent depression. Mindfulness helps us to disengage from the repetitive, cyclical, and often self-critical patterns of negative thinking that characterize rumination and worry. By training us to become aware of these ingrained thought patterns as they arise, without getting compulsively carried away by their content or believing them implicitly, mindfulness fosters a greater sense of psychological distance from our thoughts, leading to increased mental peace, emotional balance, and overall well-being. Increased self-awareness, deeper self-understanding, and insight into our own thoughts, feelings, and habitual behavioral patterns. Through the consistent and compassionate practice of observing our rich inner experience with non-judgmental awareness, mindfulness cultivates a profound and nuanced level of self-knowledge. It allows us to recognize our emotional triggers with greater clarity, to understand the underlying dynamics of our emotional responses more deeply, and to gain invaluable insights into our deeply ingrained, often unconscious, patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. This heightened self-awareness is the essential first step towards conscious personal growth and transformation. Even more promising positive impacts on physical health, physiological functioning, and overall well-being. Beyond its effects on the brain and mental health, emerging research continues to suggest that regular mindfulness practice can exert tangible and beneficial influences on various aspects of physical health. These include boosting the efficiency and responsiveness of the immune system, contributing to the healthy regulation of blood pressure, positively influencing inflammatory processes within the body, and even potentially impacting cellular aging through mechanisms related to telomere length. Beyond these compelling findings from the rigorous domain of scientific inquiry, the psychological, emotional, existential, and even spiritual benefits of consistently anchoring ourselves in the immediacy of the present moment are equally profound, deeply personal, and demonstrably life-enhancing. Cultivating a sacred pause and empowering, conscious value-driven response. One of the most transformative gifts of mindfulness practice is its capacity to cultivate a crucial, often life-altering internal space, a sacred pause that inserts itself between the initial arising of any given stimulus. Be it an external event that occurs, an intrusive thought that pops into our minds, or a sudden surge of intense emotion, and our habitual, often unconscious and automatic, reaction to that stimulus. Within this precious, newly created spaciousness of mindful awareness, we gain the invaluable opportunity to step out of the deeply grooved patterns of automatic pilot. We can learn to observe our immediate impulses, our conditioned reactions, with clarity and composure, and then, from this place of greater presence and wisdom, make a conscious, considered choice about how we wish to respond, a response that is far more likely to be aligned with our deepest values, our long-term goals, and our authentic selves, rather than a knee-jerk, often regrettable, reaction driven by ingrained habits or fleeting emotional states. This capacity for conscious response directly echoes the core principles of Stoic philosophy we explored on Day 4 and lays the essential groundwork for the refined art of non-reaction that we will delve into with greater detail on Day 19. Significantly alleviating unnecessary suffering by stepping out of the illusory grip of mental time travel. It is a striking and often sobering realization that an enormous proportion of our mental and emotional anguish arises not from the direct experience of the present moment itself, but from our persistent and often compulsive tendency to dwell on past regrets, replaying painful memories, lamenting mistakes made, and wrestling with what-ifs. Equally, we project ourselves into an imagined future, filling it with anxieties about potential problems, fears of uncertain outcomes, and elaborate catastrophic scenarios. Mindfulness gently, yet firmly and persistently, guides us out of these often painful and unproductive mental time travels. It anchors our awareness firmly in the immediate tangible reality of the present moment, the only moment where we have any real agency, where true peace can be found, and where our suffering about what was or what might be often dissolves, revealing the inherent okayness and sufficiency that frequently resides, unnoticed, in the simple reality of the here and now, deepening our capacity for authentic appreciation and heartfelt gratitude for the often overlooked simple joys and blessings of life. When we are truly present, fully engaged with the richness of our direct sensory experience, even the most seemingly mundane or ordinary moments of daily life, the complex aroma and comforting warmth of our morning cup of tea or coffee, the gentle caress of sunlight on our skin, the intricate melody of birdsong outside our window, the genuine, unfeigned smile of a loved one, the simple act of breathing can become profound and unexpected sources of deep joy, heartfelt appreciation, and quiet wonder. Mindfulness allows us to savor these often overlooked, fleeting moments, enriching our lives immeasurably with a deeper sense of contentment, connection, and gratitude for the sheer gift of being alive, cultivating a stable, resilient core of inner calm, equanimity, and unshakable presence. By consistently practicing the art of observing the ever-changing, often turbulent landscape of our inner world, the ceaseless flow of thoughts, the kaleidoscope of emotions, the shifting currents of physical sensations, with a steadfast stance of non-judgmental acceptance and compassionate awareness, we gradually become less entangled with and less reactive to its inevitable fluctuations. This dedicated practice cultivates a stable, resilient, and deeply grounded core of inner calm, equanimity, and unshakable presence, allowing us to navigate the inevitable ups and downs, the joys and sorrows, the triumphs and challenges of life, with far greater steadiness, wisdom, and peace. We become more like a deeply rooted tree that remains flexible yet unshaken by the passing storms, or like the vast, deep ocean that remains undisturbed by the turbulent waves on its surface, actively, consciously, and wholeheartedly living our lives in the only place where life itself actually unfolds, ultimately. And this is a truth worth contemplating deeply. The present moment is not merely a moment in the linear sequence of time. It is, in a very real sense, the only moment we ever truly have, the only arena where life is actually being lived. The past is gone, existing now only as a collection of memories, interpretations, and neural traces. The future is a realm of boundless potentiality, a tapestry of possibilities, but it has not yet been realized. It remains an idea. The present moment, this very instant, is the living, breathing, dynamic reality where life actively unfolds, where authentic change becomes possible, where genuine joy can be directly experienced, and where we possess any real, tangible capacity for conscious choice, for meaningful action, and for heartfelt connection with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. Mindfulness is the luminous key that unlocks the door to fully, consciously, and joyfully inhabiting this precious, singular, and ever-fleeting moment, allowing us to truly and authentically live the lives we are so fortunate to be given. Enhancing self-compassion and kindness. As we practice observing our inner world non-judgmentally, we often become more aware of our own suffering and our habitual patterns of self-criticism. Mindfulness can naturally foster a sense of kindness and compassion towards ourselves, allowing us to meet our imperfections and struggles with greater understanding and gentleness. This self-compassion is a crucial element of emotional well-being. Part 3. Unpacking the core principles of mindful awareness, the foundational pillars and guiding stars of effective and meaningful practice. To truly understand, effectively cultivate, and deeply integrate mindfulness into the very fabric of our lives, it is absolutely essential to delve with even greater nuance and clarity into its core operational principles. These principles serve as the foundational pillars that underpin this transformative practice and act as guiding stars, illuminating our path as we navigate the rich terrain of our inner and outer worlds with mindful awareness. 1. The foundational power of intention. Mindfulness is not a passive, accidental, or haphazard state. It is consciously initiated and consistently sustained by a clear, deliberate intention. Before we embark on a formal mindfulness practice, or as we move through the myriad activities of our day with the aim of being more present, we consciously choose to bring our awareness to our experience. This underlying intention provides the initial direction and clarity for our focus, and just as importantly, serves as a gentle, compassionate reminder, a gentle nudge when our attention inevitably and repeatedly wanders from its chosen anchor. Our intention might be as simple as wishing to cultivate greater self-understanding, as practical as seeking to find a sense of inner calm amidst a busy and demanding day, or as profound as aspiring to be more fully present and lovingly engaged with the precious unfolding moments of our lives. This clear, heartfelt intention acts as our inner compass, our North Star, consistently guiding and reorienting our practice with purpose and meaning. It distinguishes mindful awareness from mere daydreaming or unfocused attention. 2. The deliberate skill of attention. Once our guiding intention is set with clarity, the core practice of mindfulness involves actively, consciously, and skillfully directing and sustaining our focus. This can manifest as a narrow, concentrated focus on a specific, chosen anchor, such as the ever-present sensations of our breath, the subtle sounds in our environment, or the feeling of our feet on the ground. Alternatively, it can involve cultivating a broader, more expansive, and openly receptive awareness that gently encompasses all sensory experiences, thoughts, emotions, and inner states arising in the present moment, without fixating on any single one. The key element here, regardless of the breadth of focus, is the active, deliberate direction and redirection of our attention. We are not simply waiting passively for something to happen or for insights to magically appear. We are deliberately, consciously choosing where to place our mental spotlight, moment by moment. When our attention inevitably drifts away from our chosen anchor or field of awareness, the mindful practice is to gently, patiently, and without any self-judgment or frustration, redirect it back. This very act of consistently noticing the wandering and gently, compassionately returning our attention is the core training, the essential weightlifting that strengthens our attentional muscle and cultivates our capacity for sustained presence. 3. The unwavering centrality of the present moment. Centrality of the present moment. This principle lies at the very heart and soul, the absolute core of all mindfulness practice. It is the consistent, gentle, yet unwavering and persistent act of skillfully steering our awareness away from the often compelling and seductive narratives of the past, with its frequently sticky and emotionally charged residues of regret, guilt, resentment, or wistful nostalgia, and the equally alluring, often anxiety-provoking or fantastical projections of the future. Mindfulness anchors us firmly, groundedly, in the direct, immediate, tangible, and ever-changing experience of what is actually happening right now. This very moment, and this moment alone, is where our lives are truly being lived, where genuine experience unfolds. Mindfulness is the dedicated, ongoing practice of fully, consciously, and wholeheartedly inhabiting this precious, singular, and ever-fleeting now, recognizing it as the only point of authentic power and peace. 4. The deeply transformative power of non-judgment. This is for many arguably the most profound, the most counterintuitive, the most challenging, and ultimately the most powerfully liberating aspect of dedicated mindfulness practice. It involves cultivating a radical, unwavering stance of observing the entire vast spectrum of our inner and outer experiences, the constant stream of our thoughts, the kaleidoscope of our emotions, the myriad of our physical sensations, and the unpredictable unfolding of external events, as they arise, manifest, and pass through our field of awareness without immediately, habitually, and often unconsciously slapping evaluative, critical or reactive labels of good or bad, right or wrong, pleasant or unpleasant, wanted or unwanted upon them. We strive with gentle persistence to cultivate the compassionate and impartial attitude of a kind, wise witness, simply noticing what is with a spirit of open, boundless curiosity, gentle, unconditional acceptance, and unwavering kindness towards ourselves and our experience. It is vital to understand that this non-judgmental stance does not imply that we condone harmful actions, that we become passive or indifferent to injustice, or that we cease to discern what is skillful from what is unskillful. Rather, it means that we learn to observe our internal reactions, our judgments, our stories, our emotional responses to these events without adding a secondary, often more painful layer of self-criticism, harsh judgment, or escalating emotional reactivity that almost invariably amplifies our initial suffering. Non-judgmental awareness, consistently practiced, creates a profound and liberating spaciousness within us, allowing for greater clarity, deeper wisdom, more compassionate self-understanding, and ultimately a more skillful, balanced, and peaceful response to the complexities of life. This even includes bringing a non-judgmental awareness to the very act of judging when we notice it arising within. A subtle but crucial refinement of the practice. 5. Consistently embracing the beginner as mind. As we explored with depth and appreciation on day 1 of our wisdom quest, the guiding principle of Shoshin, or the beginner's mind, is not just a preliminary concept, but is intrinsically and dynamically linked to the ongoing practice of mindfulness. It encourages us, invites us to approach each unfolding moment, each unique experience, each arising thought or emotion with a palpable sense of freshness, unencumbered openness, and vibrant, childlike curiosity, as if we were encountering it for the very first, and perhaps only, time, completely free from the heavy, often distorting filters of past experiences, deeply ingrained assumptions, fixed or rigid beliefs, or tightly held expectations about how things should be. This precious quality of not knowing, of being radically open to new information, fresh perspectives, and unexpected insights in each present moment allows for the possibility of profound new learning, a richer, more authentic, and more vibrant engagement with reality, and a significant liberation from the often self-imposed limitations of our conditioned perceptions and habitual ways of seeing and being in the world. Each breath can be a new breath, each interaction a new encounter. Part 4. Your practical toolkit for cultivating presence. A spectrum of accessible and effective mindfulness techniques, deepened and expanded. Mindfulness is not merely an abstract philosophical concept or an intellectual understanding. It is fundamentally and transformatively an experiential practice, a skill that is cultivated through consistent, dedicated, and compassionate engagement. The more consistently and wholeheartedly you engage with these diverse techniques, the more deeply ingrained this precious quality of presence will become in the very fabric of your daily life, offering its remarkable array of benefits with increasing ease, naturalness, and spontaneity. Let us now explore, with even greater depth and practical detail, a more comprehensive range of foundational mindfulness techniques that you can begin to consciously and skillfully integrate into your daily routine. Starting right now. 1. Mindful breathing. As we have touched upon, the practice of mindful breathing remains the simplest, most readily accessible, most universally applicable, and arguably the most foundational of all mindfulness practices. Your breath, that vital life force, is a constant, unwavering companion, an ever-present anchor that is always available to gently but firmly bring you back from the wanderings of your mind to the immediate, tangible reality of the present moment, no matter where you find yourself or what circumstances you are navigating. Let's engage in a slightly more extended and nuanced guided moment of mindful breathing right now. Allow yourself, first and foremost, to settle into a posture that feels both comfortable and dignified, whether you are seated in a chair, on a cushion on the floor, or even standing, if that feels right for you. If you feel comfortable and safe doing so, you may choose to gently close your eyes, or if you prefer, you can soften your gaze downwards, allowing your eyelids to be heavy. Now, with gentle intention, bring the full, focused beam of your awareness to the subtle, yet ever-present, physical sensations of your breath as it naturally enters and leaves your body. Take a few moments to explore where you feel the breath most vividly in your body. Perhaps it is the subtle coolness of the air as it passes through your nostrils or mouth on the inhalation, and the gentle warmth as it is released on the exhalation. Or perhaps you notice it more distinctly as the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall of your chest, or the soft, wave-like expansion and contraction of your abdomen. Wherever you feel the breath most clearly, allow your attention to rest there, like a butterfly gently alighting on a flower. Allow your breath to flow entirely naturally, at its own pace and rhythm, without any conscious attempt on your part to control, alter, deepen, or manipulate it in any way. Your only task is to observe its inherent qualities, its natural rise and fall, its subtle depth or shallowness, its unique pace in this moment. As you continue to focus your awareness on the physical sensations of your breath, you will inevitably notice that your mind begins to wander. Thoughts will undoubtedly arise, memories may surface, plans for the future will likely intrude, or perhaps a commentary on the practice itself will begin. This is not a mistake. It is a completely natural and universal experience, a testament to the mind's inherent activity. When you become aware that your attention has drifted away from the breath, the crucial step is to simply acknowledge, with gentle curiosity, and without any form of self-criticism or judgment, where your mind has gone. Then, with unwavering kindness and patient persistence, gently, lovingly, guide your awareness back to the physical sensations of your breath, your chosen anchor. Each and every time you notice your mind wandering and you consciously, gently bring it back to the breath, that is a moment of successful mindfulness in action. It is in these countless small acts of returning that you are actively strengthening your attentional muscle, cultivating your capacity for presence, and deepening your non-judgmental awareness. Continue now for a few more moments to rest your awareness on the continuous, gentle ebb and flow of your breath, noticing each full inhalation and each complete exhalation, allowing yourself to be fully present with this simple yet profound anchor to the now. And now, as we prepare to conclude this brief practice, begin to gently expand your awareness outwards from your breath. Notice the sounds in your environment, both near and far. Feel the sensations of your body in contact with its support, the chair, the floor. Become aware of the temperature of the air on your skin. And then, whenever you feel completely ready, you may softly and slowly open your eyes if they were closed, bringing this cultivated sense of mindful presence with you as you re-engage with your surroundings. Extending and deepening the practice, challenge yourself to consciously incorporate several brief mindful breathing breaks, perhaps just 1 to 3 minutes each, into various transition points throughout your day. Before you start a new task at work, while you are waiting in line at the grocery store, during a moment of emotional activation, or just before you go to sleep at night. Even these brief, consistent check-ins with your breath can serve as powerful reset buttons, helping you to interrupt habitual patterns of mind wandering and gently re-anchor yourself in the calm clarity of the present moment. 2. Body scan meditation. This systematic and deeply grounding practice involves intentionally, sequentially, and mindfully directing your awareness to different regions of your physical body, typically starting with the toes of your left foot and gradually, painstakingly moving upwards through each part of your body, the feet, ankles, lower, legs, knees, thighs, hips, pelvis, abdomen, chest, back, shoulders, arms, hands, neck, face, and finally, the crown of your head. As you bring your focused attention to each specific area, your primary task is to simply notice, with open curiosity and non-judgmental acceptance, whatever physical sensations happen to be present in that region at that particular moment. These might include sensations of warmth, coolness, tingling, throbbing, pressure, lightness, heaviness, tension, relaxation, spaciousness, contact with clothing or surfaces, or perhaps even no distinct or discernible sensation at all. The practice is one of gentle, patient, non-striving observation, without any attempt to change, fix, or analyze what you are feeling. It is a profoundly effective technique for cultivating a deeper, more intimate awareness of your physical body, for noticing and often releasing subtle, unconsciously held patterns of tension or discomfort, and for fostering a sense of integrated wholeness and profound relaxation. While typically practiced lying down for optimal release and stillness, it can also be skillfully adapted for a comfortable seated posture if preferred or necessary. Exploring further and overcoming obstacles. Many excellent guided body scan meditations, ranging from 10 minutes to over 45 minutes, are readily available online through mindfulness apps, websites, and YouTube channels. Experiment with different lengths and guiding voices to find what resonates most deeply with you. A common challenge with the body scan is the tendency for the mind to wander off or for drowsiness to set in. If your mind wanders, gently redirect it to the part of the body you are focusing on. If you become sleepy, you might try opening your eyes for a few moments or even practicing in a slightly more upright, supported position. 3. Mindful listening. In this deeply engaging practice, instead of primarily focusing your attention on the internal sensations of breath or body, you intentionally direct the full, open scope of your awareness to the intricate and ever-changing soundscape that surrounds you. The invitation is to listen with a quality of expansive receptive awareness, allowing all sounds, whether they are perceived as near or far, loud or subtle, seemingly pleasant or seemingly unpleasant, familiar or unfamiliar, to simply enter your field of awareness as pure, auditory sensations arising and passing like waves in an ocean. The key is to refrain from getting caught up in automatically analyzing the source of each sound, mentally labeling it, forming judgments or stories about it, or wishing it were different. The practice is one of pure, choiceless, receptive listening, allowing the entire symphony of the soundscape to simply be as it is, without resistance or preference. Practical application and refinement. You can practice mindful listening for a few minutes at any time during your day. Perhaps try it during your daily commute, while sitting quietly in a park or garden, or even amidst the bustle of a busy urban environment. As you listen, notice not only the individual sounds themselves, but also the subtle layers and textures of the soundscape, the spaces and silences between the sounds, and any internal reactions that may arise in response to different auditory stimuli. When you notice your mind wandering off into thought or analysis, gently and patiently redirect your attention back to the pure act of simply listening, receiving the sounds as they are. 4. Mindful eating. This transformative practice has the power to elevate the often automatic, unconscious act of eating into a rich, deeply engaging, and profoundly nourishing sensory experience. It involves intentionally and significantly slowing down the pace of your eating and bringing your full, deliberate, and curious attention to the entire process of consuming food, from noticing its visual appeal on your plate, to appreciating its diverse aromas, to feeling its varied textures in your mouth, to savoring the complex and subtle nuances of its flavors as they unfold on your palate, and even to listening to the sounds of chewing and swallowing. Furthermore, mindful eating encourages us to pay close attention to our body's internal signals of hunger, fullness, and satiety, learning to discern true physiological hunger from emotional eating or habitual cravings. Mindful eating can foster a significantly healthier and more joyful relationship with food, dramatically enhance your enjoyment and appreciation of meals, help with digestion, and cultivate a greater intuitive awareness of your body's unique nutritional needs and responses. A more detailed mini-experiment for your next meal or even just a snack. Commit to practicing mindful eating for at least the first 5 to 10 minutes. Before you take your first bite, pause and take a few conscious breaths. Look at your food with fresh eyes, noticing its colors, shapes, and arrangement. Bring the food towards your nose and inhale its aroma, noticing any subtle notes. When you take your first bite, resist the urge to immediately chew and swallow. Let the food rest in your mouth for a moment, noticing its initial taste and texture. Then, begin to chew slowly and deliberately, perhaps counting your chews. Try to identify all the different flavors and how they change as you chew. Notice the texture transforming. When you are ready to swallow, do so mindfully, following the sensation of the food as it travels down your throat. Pause for a moment before taking your next bite. Notice any desire to rush. This simple yet profound practice can completely change your experience of eating, revealing a depth of sensory pleasure and body wisdom often overlooked. 5. Mindful walking. Whether you choose to practice mindful walking indoors in a small space or outdoors amidst the beauty of nature, the core principle remains the same: to bring your full, focused awareness to the rich tapestry of physical sensations inherent in the seemingly simple act of walking. Notice, with exquisite attention, the precise moment your foot begins to lift from the ground, the sensation of it swinging gracefully through the air, and the distinct feeling of it making renewed contact with the earth. Pay close, curious attention to the subtle shifts in balance throughout your body, the coordinated movement of your legs, hips, and torso, and the gentle engagement of your muscles. You can also choose to gently expand your awareness to encompass the visual details of your surroundings, the symphony of sounds that reach your ears, and even the subtle scents carried on the breeze as you walk, all while maintaining that core, grounding connection to the present moment through the simple, rhythmic, and repetitive act of placing one foot in front of the other. Mindful walking can be a wonderful way to integrate meditative practice into a more active part of your day, and it can be particularly helpful when feeling restless or agitated during seated meditation. Integrating mindful walking and variations. Try incorporating a short, dedicated mindful walk into your daily routine, perhaps a 10 to 15-minute walk during a break from work or as a way to mindfully transition between different activities or parts of your day. Focus solely on the direct physical sensations of walking, allowing your thoughts and worries to come and go like passing clouds without needing to engage with them. You can experiment with different paces, a very slow, deliberate pace for deeper introspection, or a more natural pace for everyday mindful movement. Some traditions even incorporate specific patterns of breath with each step to further anchor attention. 6. Informal mindfulness. This, in many ways, is where the practice of mindfulness truly comes alive, where its benefits begin to permeate every corner of our existence. It involves consciously and intentionally choosing to bring moments of focused, non-judgmental awareness to the seemingly ordinary, often automatic, and frequently overlooked routine activities that constitute the bulk of our waking hours. This is about transforming the mundane into the sacred through the power of attention. Mindful brushing of teeth. Instead of letting your mind wander off to your to-do list for the day or replaying a conversation from yesterday, bring your full attention to the present experience. Feel the sensation of the bristles moving against your teeth and gums. Notice the specific taste and texture of the toothpaste, and be acutely aware of the subtle, coordinated movements of your hand, wrist, and arm. Mindful washing of dishes. Transform this often perceived chore into a meditative practice. Pay close attention to the sensation of the warm water flowing over your hands, the slippery, yielding feel of the soap suds, the varied textures of the different dishes and utensils, and the rhythmic sounds of the water swirling in the sink and the clinking of crockery. Mindful showering or bathing. Instead of rushing through your ablutions, allow yourself to be fully present with the experience. Feel the sensation of the warm water cascading over your skin, or the enveloping embrace of the bath. Notice the different scents of your soap, shampoo, or bath oils. Be present with the sounds of the water hitting the shower floor, or the gentle lapping against the sides of the tub. Mindful commuting or waiting in line. These often frustrating moments of transition or enforced stillness can become valuable opportunities for informal mindfulness practice. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone to escape the present or getting lost in agitated thought, take a few moments to consciously notice your breath. Observe the sounds of your surroundings, the hum of traffic, the chatter of voices, the rustling of leaves. Notice the postures, expressions, and energies of the people around you without judgment. Feel the sensation of your feet on the ground or your body supported by your seat. Mindful conversations and deep listening. When you are engaged in conversation with another person, make a conscious and dedicated effort to truly listen, not just to the words being spoken, but also to the underlying meaning, the unspoken emotions, and the subtle nuances of their communication. Resist the common urge to simply formulate your own response while the other person is still speaking. Instead, offer them the gift of your full, undivided, and compassionate attention. Notice their tone of voice, their facial expressions, their body language, and the emotions that might be subtly conveyed beneath the surface of their words. This practice can profoundly transform the quality of your connections. Mindful household chores. Whether it's folding laundry, sweeping the floor, or making your bed, approach these tasks with focused attention. Notice the textures of fabrics, the rhythm of your movements, the visual changes as order emerges from disorder. These can become grounding and even satisfying practices. The compounding power of small, consistent moments. It is crucial to remember that these small, seemingly insignificant moments of informal mindfulness, when practiced with consistency and genuine intention, accumulate synergistically over time. They create a powerful positive momentum, leading to a significant and noticeable shift in your overall baseline level of presence, dramatically reducing habitual mind wandering, and profoundly enhancing your capacity to appreciate and engage with the inherent richness, beauty, and poignancy of your everyday life. Part 5. Skillfully and compassionately navigating the inevitable and universal challenges of mindfulness practice. While the underlying principles and essential instructions of mindfulness are, at their core, inherently simple, universally accessible, and profoundly natural, the actual, lived experience of practicing mindfulness, especially in the initial stages of cultivation or during periods of heightened internal or external stress, can often present certain common and entirely normal challenges. It is absolutely crucial to approach these experiences not as signs of failure or inadequacy, but as integral parts of the learning process, meeting them with a generous, unwavering dose of self-compassion, gentle patience, and a spirit of curious, persistent exploration. The ubiquitous and often frustrating monkey mind, the mind's persistent, seemingly uncontrollable tendency to wander ceaselessly from thought to thought, This is, without any doubt, the most universally shared and frequently reported experience in all forms of mindfulness and meditation practice. Our minds, through eons of evolutionary conditioning and a lifetime of habit, are naturally and relentlessly active. They are magnificent instruments designed to think, plan, remember, solve problems, create narratives, and make associations. It is therefore vital to understand, internalize, and consistently remember that the primary goal of mindfulness is not to achieve some mythical state of complete, thought-free mental emptiness, nor is it to forcibly suppress or battle with the natural arising of thoughts. This is a common and unhelpful misconception that almost invariably leads to unnecessary frustration, a demoralizing sense of failure, and often the premature abandonment of the practice. Instead, the core skill we are cultivating in mindfulness lies in developing the capacity to notice with clear, non-judgmental awareness when our attention has inevitably and often subtly drifted away from our chosen anchor. And then the practice continues with a gentle, compassionate, and without any self-reproach or internal scolding, act of mindfully guiding our attention back to our chosen anchor, back to the immediacy of the present moment. Each and every time you become aware that your mind has wandered off on a tangent, and you consciously, gently and kindly bring it back, that is not an indication of failure, but rather a moment of profound success, a testament to your mindfulness in action. It is precisely in these countless small, seemingly insignificant acts of noticing and returning that you are actively strengthening your attentional muscle, cultivating your capacity for sustained presence, and deepening your non-judgmental awareness of your own inner workings. Think of it as a sign your brain is functioning perfectly well by thinking. Your practice is to choose where to place your focus amidst that activity. Experiencing uncomfortable feelings of restlessness, physical agitation, mental frustration, or even profound boredom during practice. These sensations and emotional states can certainly, and often do, arise during mindfulness practice, particularly when we are asking our typically overstimulated minds and restless bodies to settle into periods of relative stillness and quietude. The wise and compassionate invitation of mindfulness in these moments is not to try to suppress, ignore, or immediately escape these uncomfortable feelings, but rather to courageously and curiously turn the gentle beam of our mindful awareness directly towards these very experiences. Notice the specific raw qualities of restlessness as a constellation of physical sensations, perhaps a jittery feeling in your legs, an insistent urge to move or fidget, or a sense of inner tension. Observe the arising of mental agitation as a cascade of thoughts racing rapidly through your mind, or perhaps as a pervasive feeling of unease, impatience, or irritability in your body. Notice the experience of boredom, not as an objective truth about the present moment, but as a particular collection of thoughts and associated feelings. Approach these challenging inner states with a spirit of open, non-judgmental curiosity, simply observing them as they arise, manifest, and eventually pass, without needing to immediately react to them, analyze their causes, or try to fix or change them in any way. Sometimes, if intense agitation or restlessness makes seated practice feel unbearable, it can be highly beneficial to engage in shorter and more frequent practice sessions throughout the day, or even to skillfully shift to a form of mindful movement, such as mindful walking or gentle mindful stretching, rather than forcing yourself to remain still in a way that amplifies your discomfort. Dealing with persistent drowsiness, overwhelming sleepiness, or even inadvertently falling asleep during formal practice sessions. This is another particularly common experience, especially if you are practicing mindfulness in a lying down posture, or when you are feeling naturally tired, fatigued from a long day, or perhaps even a little under the weather. If possible, it is often helpful to try practicing in a posture that actively promotes alertness while still maintaining a sense of physical relaxation, such as sitting upright in a chair with your feet flat on the floor and your spine straight but not rigid, or sitting on a meditation cushion with appropriate support. Ensure that the space where you are practicing is well ventilated and perhaps not overly warm, as these factors can contribute to drowsiness. If sleepiness persists despite these adjustments, you might even try incorporating a brief period of mindful movement, such as a short, brisk, mindful walk or some gentle stretches to gently energize yourself and clear your mind before returning to a seated or still practice. It is also important to be kind to yourself if you do nod off. Simply acknowledge it and gently re-engage with your practice when you are able. Sometimes, deep relaxation is precisely what your body and mind need most. The often subtle but insidious pitfall of impatience and the habitual expectation of instant, dramatic, or enlightened results. In our modern culture, which so often prizes instant gratification and quick fixes, it can be easy to approach mindfulness practice with a similar set of expectations. However, mindfulness is not a quick fix solution, a magical panacea for all of life's difficulties, or a guaranteed fast track to some idealized state of perpetual bliss, unshakable enlightenment, or permanent freedom from all suffering. Rather, it is a gradual, patient, and often subtle process of cultivation, a deeply personal journey of self-discovery and inner transformation, rather than a specific destination to be aggressively pursued or quickly achieved. It requires consistent patience, gentle persistence, and a courageous willingness to simply show up for the practice, day after day, moment after moment, without an overriding attachment to specific outcomes or preconceived notions about what should be happening. Remember our profound exploration of letting go on day 5? This principle of releasing attachment to outcomes is particularly relevant and vital here. Gently and repeatedly, release any rigid expectations you might hold about what your mindfulness practice should look like or what immediate results it ought to deliver. Instead, simply commit to the ongoing process of being present with whatever is happening, moment by moment, with as much openness, curiosity, and self-compassion as you can muster. Trust implicitly in the cumulative, often unseen, power and the subtle, yet profoundly transformative, shifts that inevitably unfold through consistent, dedicated practice over time. Part 6. Mindfulness. The essential golden thread seamlessly connecting, deeply enriching, and powerfully amplifying our entire wisdom quest. As you diligently and compassionately cultivate the practice of mindfulness in its myriad forms, you will begin to perceive with ever-increasing clarity and direct experience that it is not merely another isolated topic or an optional technique within our expansive 30-day wisdom quest. Rather, mindfulness serves as a fundamental, indispensable meta-skill, a core human capacity that intricately and elegantly weaves through, profoundly supports, and powerfully amplifies every other facet of wisdom, personal growth, emotional intelligence, and authentic, vibrant living that we are dedicated to exploring together on this shared journey. Consider again the deeply transformative art of letting go. Mindfulness is, in a very real sense, the essential first step and the ongoing, supportive companion in this delicate process. It is the finely honed tool of mindful awareness that allows us to first become intimately and honestly aware of our often unconscious, deeply ingrained attachments, the persistent, clinging thought patterns, the habitual reactive emotional responses, and the myriad subtle ways in which we instinctively resist the natural ever-changing flow of life. By cultivating a clear, spacious, and consistently non-judgmental awareness of these ingrained patterns through the lens of mindfulness, we create the crucial inner space, the fertile ground, necessary to observe them with compassionate clarity. From this space, we can then consciously, courageously choose to loosen our tight grip, to gently release what no longer serves our highest well-being, and to open ourselves to greater freedom and ease. Think back with renewed insight to the enduring, practical principles of Stoicism. The consistent practice of mindfulness is instrumental in honing our innate ability to observe with remarkable clarity. And without immediate entanglement, our initial, often automatic and deeply conditioned, emotional and cognitive reactions to the unpredictable unfolding of external events. This cultivated mindful observation creates that vital, often liberating, stoic pause, that precious, pregnant moment of pure presence that inserts itself between the arising of a stimulus and our habitual, often regrettable, response. Within this newly created spaciousness of mindful awareness, we gain the invaluable freedom to consciously choose a more considered, reasoned, skillful, and virtuous course of action, one that is deeply aligned with our most cherished values and our long-term vision for our lives, rather than simply reacting impulsively driven by deeply ingrained, often outdated patterns or fleeting, turbulent emotional states. Mindfulness empowers the Stoic to live their philosophy with greater skill and inner peace. Recall the exhilarating, deeply absorbing experience of the flow state, a profound, unwavering, and completely absorbed present moment awareness, utterly free from the distracting internal chatter of thoughts about past performances or anxieties about future outcomes, is not just a peripheral component or a desirable characteristic of the flow state. It is, in fact, the very gateway, the essential prerequisite for entering into and sustaining this optimal state of effortless action, profound engagement, intrinsic motivation, and profound inherent joy. Mindfulness trains the attentional stability and non-distractibility crucial for flow. Reflect with deeper understanding on the meaningful journey of uncovering and living your Ikigai, your unique and resonant purpose in life. The dedicated practice of mindfulness can significantly deepen our capacity to tune into the subtle, often quiet, whispers of our inner intuition, to listen more attentively and discerningly to the authentic calling of our heart's deepest wisdom, and to notice with far greater clarity and appreciation the often overlooked synchronicities, serendipitous encounters, and emergent opportunities that subtly align with and guide us towards our unique sense of purpose, meaning, and authentic contribution in the world. Presence allows us to perceive the path as it unfolds. And, of course, let us not forget the foundational principle of Shoshin, the courageous and liberating cultivation of the beginner's mind. Mindfulness is, in its very essence, the active, ongoing, and embodied practice of the beginner's mind, consistently and consciously applied to each and every unique, unfolding moment of our lived experience. It is the continuous heartfelt commitment to meeting our lives, the full spectrum of our thoughts, our rich tapestry of feelings, our myriad interactions with others, our ever-shifting perceptions of the world, with a palpable sense of freshness, an unencumbered openness, a spirit of boundless curiosity, and a profound willingness to see and experience anew, as if for the very first time, free from the often heavy and distorting overlay of past conditioning, deeply ingrained assumptions, limiting beliefs, or rigid, preconceived expectations. Mindfulness is Shoshin in action, breath by breath. Mindfulness and self-compassion. As we observe our inner world with mindfulness, we invariably encounter our own imperfections, our struggles, our negative thoughts, and our painful emotions. Practicing non-judgmental awareness towards these difficult aspects of our experience naturally cultivates self-compassion. Instead of layering self-criticism on top of existing pain, we learn to meet our suffering with kindness, understanding, and a recognition of our shared humanity. This self-compassion, nurtured by mindfulness, is profoundly healing and resilience building. Mindfulness and presence, dear friends and fellow seekers, are not exotic, unattainable states that you need to arduously strive to acquire from some distant, external source, nor are they reserved for a select few. They are, in fact, your own innate, natural, and universally accessible human capacities, fundamental aspects of your inherent consciousness that are often simply obscured, overshadowed, or forgotten amidst the relentless busyness, the pervasive noise, and the countless distractions of our modern, fast-paced lives. The diverse practices and gentle techniques that we have explored with such depth and care today are merely skillful means, compassionate invitations and gentle reminders designed to help you to remember, to uncover, to reconnect with, and to diligently, patiently strengthen these inherent qualities of awareness and presence that already and always reside within the core of your being. By consciously choosing, moment by precious moment, to skillfully and compassionately anchor yourself in the boundless, ever-present ocean of the infinite now, you begin the liberating process of reclaiming your precious life from the often tyrannical and ultimately illusory grip of past regrets that can no longer be changed and future anxieties that have not yet and may never come to pass. You start to discover, with increasing clarity and direct experiential richness, the profound wellspring of aliveness, the deep, abiding peace, and the inherent sufficiency that are always and already available to you, woven into the very fabric of each and every single moment, regardless of the specific content or external circumstances of that moment. This journey into mindful presence is not about adding another to-do to your already crowded list. It is about fundamentally shifting how you relate to all of your experiences, infusing your life with a greater sense of awareness, connection, and conscious choice. So my most heartfelt, expansive, and encouraging invitation to you today, as you allow these reflections on the profound power and practical application of mindfulness and presence to permeate your understanding and touch your heart, is to gently, curiously, and courageously begin, or to significantly deepen your own unique, personal exploration of this transformative and life-enhancing practice. Considering the wide array of techniques, the deeper insights, and the nuanced understandings we have explored in our masterclass today, what is one simple, concrete, intentional, and truly sustainable way that you can consciously commit to bringing more mindful presence into the living rhythm of your daily life? Perhaps starting even in the next few hours, or making a clear commitment for some time within this coming week. Will it be dedicating just 5 to 10 minutes to mindful breathing each morning as a sacred start to your day? Practicing mindful eating with genuine curiosity during one meal a day, making a deliberate effort to bring focused, non-judgmental awareness to one or two previously unconscious routine tasks, or perhaps setting an intention to engage in mindful listening during your next important conversation. Of all the diverse and powerful mindfulness techniques we explored with such depth today, mindful breathing, the grounding body scan, receptive mindful listening, savory mindful eating, rhythmic mindful walking, or the art of weaving informal mindfulness into the tapestry of your daily activities. Are there one or two specific techniques that particularly piqued your curiosity at this moment, that you feel a genuine inner resonance with, or that you feel most drawn to experiment with in your own life? Or, if you already have an established and cherished mindfulness practice, what specific technique, or perhaps what particular insight from today's exploration, do you personally find to be the most consistently helpful, deeply grounding, or insight-provoking in your own unique and evolving experience? Please, I warmly invite you to share your intentions, your burgeoning insights, your personal experiences, any challenges you anticipate or have faced, and any lingering questions you may have in the comments section below. Your collective wisdom, your honest reflections, and your supportive presence enrich this entire wisdom quest community, immeasurably creating a vibrant space for shared learning and mutual inspiration. Your active and heartfelt engagement, your courageous willingness to share your authentic journey, and the unique and valuable insights that you bring to this shared quest serve to illuminate the path not only for your own unfolding, but for all of us who are dedicated to walking this mindful, conscious, and heartful way together. If this significantly expanded, more comprehensive exploration of the profound power, the subtle nuances, and the eminently practical application of mindfulness and presence has resonated deeply within your being offered you valuable new tools and perspectives for your ongoing journey, or perhaps inspired you to renew or deepen your commitment to cultivating a greater connection to the precious present moment, please consider showing your support and appreciation by giving this video a heartfelt like. Your engagement truly helps this transformative, life-enhancing wisdom reach and benefit even more individuals across the globe who may be earnestly seeking a greater sense of peace, clarity, and presence in their own lives. And as always, if you are committed to this ongoing, deeply rewarding journey of personal growth, wisdom cultivation, and conscious self-discovery with us, please ensure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you have thoughtfully clicked that notification bell. You truly won't want to miss a single day, a single insight of this unfolding, potentially life-altering adventure that we are co-creating together. Tomorrow, on Day 7, our wisdom quest continues its fascinating trajectory, building directly and synergistically upon this essential, now more deeply understood, foundation of mindful presence. We will joyfully turn our collective attention to the power of gratitude, a daily practice for cultivating an abundant heart and mind. As you consistently cultivate a more mindful and appreciative awareness of your life, an authentic, spontaneous, and deeply felt sense of gratitude often arises. Quite naturally, a beautiful and heartfelt byproduct of truly seeing, acknowledging, and appreciating what is right here, right now, in all its simple beauty and profound sufficiency. Tomorrow, we will learn practical and joyful ways to intentionally cultivate, amplify, and express this profoundly positive and heart-opening quality, further enriching our direct experience of the present moment and transforming our perception of the world from one of potential scarcity to one of inherent overflowing abundance. Thank you, from the very depths of my heart, for being so fully, so patiently, and so courageously present with me, and more importantly, with yourselves, during this extended, in-depth exploration of mindfulness and presence today. The journey into the heart of mindfulness is, in essence, a journey into the vibrant, luminous heart of your own aliveness, your own innate wisdom. It's a continuous, compassionate invitation to meet each unfolding moment with open, receptive awareness, with unwavering kindness, and with a profound willingness to be truly, authentically intimate with the full spectrum of your own experience. May the precious seeds of presence that have been sown or nurtured today continue to sprout, to grow, and to flourish abundantly within you, bringing ever-increasing measures of calm, clarity, wisdom, and compassionate connection to all the days of your life. Remember always this very moment, the one you are inhabiting right now as you hear these words, as you take your next breath, is an irreplaceable, unrepeatable, and infinitely precious gift that is precisely why it is often referred to as the present. Cherish it, savor it, inhabit it fully, learn from it, and live it consciously. The profound peace, the deep wisdom, and the authentic joy that you seek are not to be found in some distant idealized future or some selectively remembered past. They are intricately woven into the very fabric, the living texture of this present moment, patiently waiting to be discovered, embraced, and lived through your mindful, loving attention. I eagerly and joyfully look forward to welcoming you back to our shared wisdom quest tomorrow, as we continue to unfold these layers of timeless wisdom and cultivate the art of living well together.